Hey friends, Akash here. I'm someone who started my journey as a full stack developer right before graduating college and eventually started working for remote companies in Europe within 2 years. Today, I'm going to share with you how I started this journey, what the skills that I had gained, and how you can do this on your own as well. So, let's begin. To start with, I'm going to teach you how you can create your own roadmap and the skill set that a typical web engineer has. So, to talk about the skill set, firstly, people generally have a web fundamental skill set, which is basically HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. Secondly, they generally know a programming language in the backend like Node.js or Python. Thirdly, they specialize in a framework like React, Vue, Svelte, or any other frameworks which can get you a job in the current market. And fourthly, they generally have a proof of work or portfolio that they share with any potential employers. So, to talk about the web fundamentals, we already know about them, but just to reiterate, they are basically HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML providing the structure for the web page, CSS adding styling to that structure, and JavaScript, which allows you to add sprinkle in interactivity throughout the web page. The way I got my first job and I got into the web development journey was by starting with JavaScript. This path might look different for you. If you are coming from a non-technical background, then you can start with HTML and CSS first, which allows you to start building your own web pages, and then you will know what JavaScript does when you start adding interactivity by sprinkling in script tags throughout your pages. For me, I started with JavaScript and particularly Node.js because I came from a traditional web programming background, which involves C, C++, and some amount of Java, although Java wasn't something that I had ever done a deep dive into. And yeah, this basically allowed me to quickly get started with web pages and building serverful backends to serve those web pages. So I started learning HTML and CSS later, mainly through building these web pages and looking up documentation for various tags on MDN. How you can get started with this, if you don't know any of this at all, is probably look at courses from Scrimba. Scrimba has interactive web courses where you can actually go through the code while the teacher teaches through the platform as well, and that is something that people I know have gone through and it has worked from them. Other courses might be something like Free Code Camps. They have a lot of courses around web development as well, but I think that the ones that they have are a bit more advanced and are a bit more longer than the ones that you can find elsewhere, so you can go through those as well. And after you're done with HTML and CSS, a good thing which you can do is go through the JavaScript fundamentals as well. And these are really important because there are a lot of pitfalls which you might fall into while building your own web page. And the course that I recommend is Just JavaScript by Dan Abramo. It is a really good course in which Dan dives into the fundamentals of JavaScript, helps you understand its primitives, and basically helps you build a mental model around what objects and other things look like. So that's the first thing that I recommend. Secondly, picking up a backend programming language like Node.js or Python. This is something which isn't compulsory if you are going for a front-end role. However, if you want to be able to qualify for a large number of roles, then I recommend going for this and start learning Node.js or Python on your own. Again, I guess there aren't any specific tutorials that I can recommend here, but then if you just Google around and look at places like Free Code Camp, I think you'll find a lot of good resources around how you can do that as well. And just build a few backends, APIs which don't connect to a database, which just store data in the variables instead. Or, maybe they don't even store anything, they just return some pre-configured data which you have stored somewhere. So that is something that I recommend doing. Thirdly, you can specialize in a front-end framework like React. Why I recommend React or any other front-end framework is basically it gives you a grasp around how large team works, and not just around teams, but it helps you build mental models around things like building web pages via components, which React, Vue, and Svelte they like to do a lot. Another benefit of component-based architecture is modularization and how it allows you to build web pages in parts. So that's another benefit of these frameworks. And of course, it helps you stand out from the other candidates, which will help you land your first job faster. That was what worked for me as well. I was experienced in React because of my prior work with open source organizations. That helped me land roles and still helps me land roles whenever I appear for an interview. So that's something that I definitely recommend. And lastly, building up a proof of work or a portfolio that you are always working on. This is something that I talked about in my previous video about getting recruiters in your DMs. And again, this is a no-brainer. As you are building projects while learning these technologies, just keep uploading them to GitHub or any other public platform where other people can also look at it, and create your own website. That's important because you have your own landmark on the web where people can go to and have a look at all of the work that you've done, and that just drives traffic towards you, and that's just more DMs that you're getting, the more opportunities that you're exposed to, and that's something which I've benefited a lot myself as well. In fact, the first remote contracting gig that I had gotten, which was because of a project that I had built, which was featured on a website's newsletter, and it just progressed from there. And you just need to create those opportunities for yourself as well. And how you can get ideas for proof of work or building your own portfolio, that's simple. You just go to websites like FreeCodeCamp and search for React project ideas, or even go to Google and just search for technology name project ideas, and then you'll get a lot of projects which you can start building on your own. You can also try to clone existing web pages, which is another good way to start building your own projects. Additionally, when you start learning technologies like React, I also recommend going through courses like epicreact.dev and CSS for JS.dev to help you learn a bit more about the advanced part of the technologies. For React, Epic React Backend CDots is good because he goes into the depths of the various rendering patterns that React has, how you can use the React profiler to optimize your app and other things. For CSS for JS.dev by Josh Como is a really good platform because he goes into the depths of CSS, the various rendering algorithms, and how you can create the optimal styling solution for your app. As a bonus question, let's try to answer the question of whether data structures and competitive programming is something which is needed for you to get a job. For me, the answer was no. That was because of the projects that I was building, I was able to gain problem-solving skills as well while I was solving problems through the projects I was building. And even at work, while you're solving problems, just try to keep solving more and more difficult problems, and you won't have to rely on platforms like LeetCode to build up those skills for you. And then you just showcase those skills during interviews. So that's my answer about that. So thank you guys, thanks for going through this video, and if you watched it so far, I would recommend giving it a like and subscribing as well. You can read the longer article with more links on my website at thewriting.dev, and you can follow me on Twitter in case you want to ask any follow-up questions about this video. So thank you guys, and see you next time.